In the heart of Fort Worth, Texas, where city lights hum against a storied past, a single night shattered a community's soul. November 28, 2014, a date etched in sorrow. Ashley Harris, 31, a woman of laughter and dreams, was stolen in an act so brutal, so calculated, it defies comprehension. Bound by duct tape, consumed by flames, her life became a crime scene that whispered of betrayal and rage. What began as a flicker in the darkness unraveled a chilling truth. A murder planned with cold precision. What's up, story lovers? Welcome to Story Room by Rico, where we bring you gripping tales that'll keep you hooked. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a story. Also, let us know in the comments section where you are watching from. This is the story of Ashley's final hours, the relentless pursuit of justice, and a wound that lingers still. Step into the shadows of Fort Worth. Don't look away, for Ashley's truth demands to be heard. Fort Worth slept under a velvet sky, its streets hushed after Thanksgiving's glow. For Ashley Harris, 31, November 27, 2014, was a fragile gift. Her apartment, tucked in a beige complex off West Freeway, hummed with life that day. Friends crowded her small dining room, their laughter weaving through scents of roasted turkey and pecan pie. Ashley, chestnut hair loose, green eyes bright, past stuffing, her smile a beacon. She was a daughter, a friend, a woman rebuilding. College behind her, a steady job, dreams of seeing Paris. Her laugh, warm and unguarded, lingered, a sound her friends would cling to. Jenna, her closest friend, sat across, watching Ashley glow. They'd met in a recovery group years ago, two souls clawing back from addiction's edge. Ashley had won that fight, her scars now stories of triumph. She worked retail, managing a store, her voice steady when she spoke of promotions. But Jenna saw a flicker of unease in her friend's eyes, a shadow from weeks prior. "Carter Canties," Ashley had said once, her voice tight, mentioning a co-worker's grudge. She'd brushed it off, changed jobs, moved on. Or so she thought. Thanksgiving was her refuge. Ashley hugged Jenna at the door, whispering, "I'm thankful for you." The words felt heavy, a premonition Jenna couldn't name. As friends left, the apartment quieted, dishes stacked, candles snuffed. Ashley drove home alone, Fort Worth's lights blurring past her windshield. Her complex, a maze of low buildings, stood silent. She parked, breath fogging in the November chill, and climbed to apartment 204. Inside, her space was a sanctuary. Photos of her parents, gone a decade, smiled from the fridge. A half-read novel, The Night Circus, lay on the couch. Her store keys dangled on a hook, glinting under a bulb. Ashley texted Jenna, "Home safe," and settled in, unaware the night held no mercy. She wore a sweater, soft gray, her comfort after a long day. The TV murmured, a sitcom's laugh track filling the quiet. Outside, Fort Worth hummed, oblivious. A dog barked, a car idled, its headlights slicing the dark. A black Infiniti G35, sleek, out of place. Ashley didn't hear its engine, didn't see the figure in the lot. The tendrils of a plan, cold and meticulous, tightened. Her apartment, once a haven, was now a stage. The holiday's warmth faded, replaced by a silence that felt alive, waiting. Ashley locked her door, not knowing it would never open to her again. She didn't hear the footsteps on the stairs, soft but deliberate. Didn't see the glint of duct tape in a gloved hand. The clock ticked past 11 p.m., each second pulling her closer to a horror no one could foresee. Her phone buzzed, Jenna's reply, a heart emoji, but Ashley didn't answer. The sitcom played on, its canned laughter a cruel irony. Outside, the Infiniti's engine purred, then fell silent. Fort Worth's skyline glittered, indifferent. A neighbor, Clara, stirred in her bed, hearing muffled sounds. A thud, a stifled cry. She frowned, half asleep, dismissing it as a TV. The night deepened, and Ashley's light dimmed. Her apartment, filled hours ago with love, was becoming a tomb. The city slept, unaware that a life was slipping away, bound by cruelty, waiting for flames to erase it. The clock struck 2:17 a.m. when Fort Worth's stillness shattered. Clara, the neighbor, woke to acrid smoke, her heart racing. She stumbled to her window, seeing orange flickers from apartment 204. "Fire!" she gasped, dialing 911, voice trembling. "West Freeway Apartments, hurry!" Sirens wailed, slicing the quiet streets. Fire trucks roared into the complex, their lights painting beige walls in pulses of red and blue. Firefighters, faces set, unrolled hoses, battling flames clawing from Ashley's unit. Smoke poured skyward, choking, blotting stars. Lieutenant Mark Hensley, first on scene, smelled more than burning wood. Something chemical, sharp. His gut twisted. "This isn't right," he muttered, directing his team to douse the blaze. By 2:45 a.m., the fire was tamed, but the air grew heavier. Inside, the apartment was a ruin, walls blackened, furniture ash, Ashley's novel a pile of soot. Hensley's flashlight swept the room, landing on a shape that stopped his breath. Ashley Harris lay near the kitchen, still, bound by silver duct tape. Her wrists, ankles, mouth, sealed with cold precision. The tape gleamed, untouched by flames, a cruel testament to her struggle. Hensley knelt, gloved hands steady, eyes betraying shock. "This is no accident," he said, voice low. The medical examiner, Dr. Lena Ortiz, arrived, her face paling as she noted the bindings, the absence of smoke in Ashley's lungs. She hadn't died in the fire. She'd been dead before it started. Detective Sarah Vargas joined, her notepad filling fast. The duct tape wasn't random. It was deliberate, a signature of intent. The fire, she suspected, was a cover, meant to erase what couldn't be undone. Vargas scanned the room. No forced entry, no theft, but Ashley's store keys were gone, the hook empty. "We're looking at murder," she told Hensley, jaw tight. The weight settled over the team, the air thick with grief. Outside, neighbors gathered, faces pale under streetlights. Clara, clutching her robe, whispered to Vargas, "I heard something muffled, like a cry around midnight." Her words, hesitant but clear, were the first thread in a tapestry of horror. Another neighbor, Tom, mentioned a car, a black Infiniti, speeding off before the fire. Vargas jotted it down, her pulse quickening. The clue felt alive, a lead to chase. The crime scene techs moved in, their cameras flashing. They bagged the duct tape, its adhesive still sticky, and dusted for prints, finding none. The apartment's door was intact, the lock unforced. Someone she knew? Vargas mused, her mind racing. The fire's origin, Ortiz noted, was the living room. Accelerant, likely gasoline, splashed on the couch. The precision chilled her. Hensley stood by the doorway, watching the covered form of Ashley being wheeled out. "Who does this?" he asked, voice rough. Vargas didn't answer. She was already thinking of the Infiniti, the keys, the tape, pieces of a puzzle that screamed intent. Ashley's life, vibrant hours ago, was now a crime scene, her apartment a tomb. The sirens faded, their echo a requiem for a woman stolen too soon. If Ashley's story has gripped you, join us in honoring her memory. Subscribe to our channel for true crime tales told with respect and heart. Hit the bell to never miss a story, and share your thoughts below. How does Ashley's loss resonate with you? Your support keeps these voices alive. Clara's words hung in Detective Vargas's mind like smoke. Muffled sounds, a cry, she'd said, her voice shaky but certain. It was 3:30 a.m., the crime scene still buzzing, when Vargas began canvassing the complex. Neighbors, bleary-eyed, open doors, their stories fragmented. Tom, the retiree who'd seen the Infiniti, described it vividly. Sleek, black, a G35 model, its taillights red as it vanished. Around 1 a.m., he said, rubbing his eyes. Didn't think much of it then. Vargas's pen flew. A car like that wasn't common in this working-class complex. She radioed the precinct, requesting traffic cam footage near West Freeway. Find that Infiniti, she said, her voice clipped. Back at Ashley's apartment, techs were still working, bagging charred fabric, scraping ash for accelerant traces. Vargas paced, her boots crunching glass. The muffled cry, the car, the keys, each detail felt like a breadcrumb leading into darkness. By dawn, a security camera from the complex's entrance yielded gold. Grainy footage showed the Infiniti pulling in at 11:45 p.m., parking in a shadowed corner. A figure emerged, hooded, moving toward Ashley's building. No clear face, but the gait was deliberate, purposeful. At 12:50 a.m., the car sped off, tires screeching. Vargas froze the frame, the license plate blurry but legible enough. Run it, she told her partner, Detective Jamal Carter. The plate traced to a name, Carter Canties, 29, a Fort Worth resident. Vargas's pulse quickened. Ashley had mentioned Canties to Jenna, a coworker who'd soured after a workplace incident. Carter pulled Canties' file. Petty theft, a DUI, no violent priors, but a recent job loss. Could be him, Carter said, eyes narrowing. Vargas wasn't convinced yet, but the Infiniti was no coincidence. She returned to Clara, now sipping coffee, her hands trembling. Tell me about the sounds again, Vargas urged. Clara frowned, recalling a thud, a scrape, then silence. It was quick, she said, but wrong, like someone fighting to be heard. Vargas nodded, her mind painting a scene. Ashley cornered, tape sealing her voice. The image hurt, but she pushed it down. The precinct buzzed as day broke. Traffic cams confirmed the Infiniti's path, heading east toward downtown. Vargas and Carter planned a visit to Canty's address, a modest apartment 10 miles away. If he's our guy, he's not working alone, Vargas said, noting the crime's complexity. Tape, fire, no prints. The neighbor's memory, the car's fleeting glare, were threads pulling her closer to truth. But the darkness was vast, and Ashley's silence louder still. The missing store keys gnawed at Vargas. Ashley's keychain, a gift from her mom, always hung by the door. 5 keys for home, car, work. Only 4 remained. Why take the store keys? Vargas asked Carter, her voice low. They stood in the precinct, evidence photos spread across a table. The duct tape, the accelerant, the Infiniti, all pointed to intent, but the keys felt personal, a motive's shadow. Vargas dug into Ashley's work history. She'd managed a retail store, a chain outlet selling electronics, until 6 months ago. Her personnel file glowed, promotions, praise for leadership. But a year prior, a robbery had shaken the store. Security footage, recovered from archives, showed 2 masked figures stealing cash and phones. Ashley, on duty, had cooperated, saving her team. The thieves were caught, but whispers of an inside job lingered. Carter Canties, then a cashier, was questioned. No charges stuck, but suspicion cost him his job. Ashley, promoted to manager post-robbery, had reported his tardiness and attitude, documented in HR files. She didn't snitch, Jenna told Vargas over coffee, her eyes red, but Carter thought she did. He glared at her, called her names. Jenna paused, voice breaking. She was scared of him, but she stayed strong. Vargas's notepad filled. Canty's resentment was a seed. But was it enough for murder? She visited the store, now under new management. Employees remembered Ashley, kind, firm, a mentor. But Canty's? He was trouble, a cashier said. Hated Ashley after he got fired. Said she ruined him. Another name surfaced. David Mullally, Canty's boyfriend, a mechanic with a temper. They were tight, the cashier added. Always together. Back at the precinct, Carter pulled Mullally's file. No priors, but a DMV record linked him to Canty's address. The Infiniti was registered to Canty's, but Mullally drove it, neighbors said. Vargas's theory grew. A duo, fueled by grudge, targeting Ashley for a perceived betrayal. The keys, she guessed, were a trophy or a tool, access to the store, or a symbol of Canty's lost life. The investigation deepened. Vargas interviewed Ashley's parents, their grief raw. She was our light, her mother sobbed, clutching a photo of Ashley at graduation. They knew nothing of Canty's, but the pain of her absence was a fire of its own. Vargas left, her resolve hardening. The keys, the grudge, the Infiniti. Silent witnesses to a crime she'd unravel, no matter the cost. The killer's names surface, but the truth runs deeper. Subscribe to follow Ashley's Justice. Hit the bell for more true crime stories. Comment, what drives such? Your support fuels these tales. The Black Infiniti was no ghost. By November 29th, Vargas had a warrant for its plates, traced to Carter Canty's apartment on Fort Worth's east side. She and Carter staked out the address, a squat brick building with peeling paint. At 7 a.m., the Infiniti sat in the lot, dew on its hood. "That's our car," Vargas said, her voice steady. They knocked, badges ready. Canty's answered, bleary-eyed, his lean frame tense. "What's this about?" he asked, voice sharp. Vargas studied him. 29, sandy hair, a scar on his knuckle. "Mind if we talk?" she said, eyes on the Infiniti. Canty shrugged, letting them in. The apartment was sparse, couch, TV, a pizza box. David Mullally, 32, stocky with a buzz cut, emerged from a bedroom, his stare hard. "What's going on?" he demanded. Vargas kept it vague, asking about November 28th. Canty's claimed he was home, Mullally nodding. "All night," they said, too quick. The Infiniti was the key. Vargas got a warrant to search it, finding fibers in the trunk. Gray, like Ashley's sweater. Lab tests later matched them. A silent scream from the crime scene. Canty's alibi crumbled under scrutiny. Neighbors saw the car leave at 11 p.m. Return past 1 a.m. Vargas pressed him in a second interview. "You knew Ashley Harris," she said, showing a workplace photo. Canty's flinched, his jaw tight. "Yeah, so?" He admitted working with Ashley, but denied grudge. "She got me fired," he snapped, then caught himself. "Didn't care. Got another job." Mullally, questioned separately, was cagier, claiming he barely knew Ashley. But a coworker's statement burned that lie. Mullally had visited the store, arguing with Ashley weeks before her death. He was protective of Carter, the coworker said. Weirdly intense. Vargas's theory solidified. Canty's, bitter over his firing, blamed Ashley. Mullally, loyal, fueled the rage. The Infiniti tied them to the scene, But why murder? Why the tape, the fire? Vargas needed more, something to crack their wall of denials. The fibers were a start, but the truth was buried deeper, in a workplace where resentment had festered into death. Vargas went back to the store, its fluorescent lights stark. The manager, Rachel, shared old schedules. Ashley and Canty's overlapped for 2 years. She was great, Rachel said. Carter? Lazy, bitter. Thought he deserved her job. A robbery in 2013 had changed everything. Ashley, calm under pressure, saved her team, but Canty's, off that night, was suspected of tipping off the thieves. No proof, but his firing followed, Ashley's reports sealing his fate. Jenna filled in gaps. Carter cornered Ashley once, she said, voice low. Said she'd pay for ratting him out. She laughed it off, but I saw fear in her eyes. Vargas pictured it. Canty's humiliated, his ego bruised. Mallory, she learned, had his own grudge. A mechanic, he'd been fired from a shop Ashley frequented, blaming her for a complaint she never made. They fed each other's anger, a mutual friend said. Vargas reconstructed the motive. Canty saw Ashley's promotion as theft, her success a mirror to his failure. Mallory, fiercely loyal, bought the narrative. Together, they'd woven a fantasy of revenge, Ashley their scapegoat. The store keys, Vargas guessed, were symbolic, Canty's reclaiming what he'd lost. But the crime's brutality, tape, fire, suggested something darker, a shared descent into cruelty. Detectives dug into Canty's life. Social media showed rants about snitches, veiled threats post-firing. Mallory's posts were quieter, but his car was a constant. Photos of the Infiniti, his pride. Vargas interviewed a former coworker who recalled Canty's muttering about Ashley months before. He said she'd get what's coming, the coworker whispered. The words chilled, a spark that became an inferno. The investigation tightened. Vargas knew the Infiniti and fibers weren't enough for charges. She needed physical evidence, something to tie Canty's and Mallory to the tape, the fire, the keys. The workplace, a crucible of resentment, had birthed a monster. But how far had it grown? The answer lay in their apartment, waiting for a warrant to reveal it. On December 1st, Vargas secured warrants for Canty's and Mallory's apartment and vehicles. At 6 a.m., a SWAT team breached the door, the couple stunned in their boxers. The apartment was a treasure trove of guilt. In a closet, Vargas found a taser, its prongs clean but ominous. Under the bed, a locked box held 3 knives sharp, one with a nick-matching duct tape cuts. In the Infiniti's trunk, shovels and a tarp, dirt caked on their edges, screamed of a grave robber's intent. The duct tape was the clincher. A roll, identical to the crime scenes, sat in a toolbox, its adhesive a chemical match. Vargas's heart sank as she bagged it, the weight of Ashley's final moments heavy. They planned this, she told Carter, her voice low. The shovel suggested a second act, burying Ashley, erasing her entirely. The fire, Vargas realized, was Plan B when time ran short. Lab tests sealed the case. Fibers from the Infiniti matched Ashley's sweater, placing her in the trunk. Gasoline traces on the tarp matched the accelerant. A single hair, Ashley's, clung to a shovel, DNA confirming it. The taser, recently used, had no direct link, but its presence spoke of control, pain. Vargas imagined Ashley's terror. Bound, silenced, her fight futile. The thought fueled her. Canty's and Mallory, arrested, stayed silent. Their lawyer claimed coincidence, but the evidence was a chorus of accusation. Vargas sat in the evidence room, staring at the knives, the tape, the shovels. "How do you hate someone this much?" she whispered. Carter, beside her, shook his head. The answer was in the workplace, the resentment, the pact between two men who turned loss into death. The precinct prepared for trial. Prosecutors, led by ADA Emily Ruiz, built a case: fibers, tape, tools, motive. Vargas felt the weight lift, but not fully. Ashley's parents met again, hugged her, tears falling. "Thank you," they said. Vargas nodded, but her mind was on Ashley, her laugh silenced forever. The evidence was enough, but justice was still a step away. The net tightens around Ashley's killers. Subscribe to Witness Justice Served. Hit the bell for more true crime. Comment: what shocked you most about the evidence? Your support drives these stories. The evidence room was a shrine to truth. Vargas and Ruiz spent days weaving the case. Fibers, duct tape, shovels, each a thread in a damning tapestry. Digital forensics added more. Canty's phone pinged near Ashley's complex at 11:50 p.m., contradicting his alibi. Mallory's GPS, pulled from the Infiniti, showed a route matching the security footage. A deleted text, recovered from Canty's cloud, read, "She's done tonight." Sent to Mallory, 10 p.m., November 28th. Witnesses tighten the noose. Clara's testimony. Muffled cries, the Infiniti's glare was unshakable. Tom, the neighbor, identified the car in a lineup. Jenna recounted Canty's threats, her voice breaking but firm. The coworker who'd heard Canty's vow, "She'll get what's coming," took the stand, her words a knife. Ruiz layered it with motive. Canty's firing, Mallory's loyalty, a shared hatred festering into murder. The prosecution's narrative was clear. Canty's, humiliated by his termination, saw Ashley as the architect of his ruin. Mallory, his echo, fueled the plan. They'd stalked her, waited post-Thanksgiving, knowing she'd be alone. The duct tape was control, the fire erasure, the keys a twisted trophy. The shovels, Ruiz argued, showed intent to bury her, a grave thwarted by time. Defense lawyers scrambled, claiming the evidence was circumstantial. The fibers, they said, could be from anywhere. The tape common. The shovels for gardening. But the GPS, the text, the hair, they couldn't spin. Vargas watched Canty's in court, his face blank, Mallory's eyes darting. "They know it's over," she whispered to Carter. The threads of guilt were too strong, woven by Ashley's silent voice. Ruiz closed with the crime scene photos, not graphic but stark. The duct tape, the charred couch, the empty key hook. Ashley Harris was bound, killed, burned, she said, voice steady. "Her killers sit before you." The jury listened, faces grim. Vargas felt Ashley's presence, a weight urging truth. The trial was nearing its end, justice a heartbeat away. The Tarrant County courtroom was a crucible, its air thick with expectation. On March 15, 2016, the trial of Carter Canty's and David Mallory began. A 10-day ordeal that bared Fort Worth's wound. ADA Emily Ruiz stood tall, her opening stark. Ashley Harris was murdered, not by chance, but by choice. She laid out the evidence. Duct tape, fibers, shovels, the Infiniti's path, the damning text. The jury, 12 men and women, listened, their notebooks filling. Canty's, in a cheap suit, stared at the floor. Mallory, beside him, shifted, his buzz cut glinting under lights. Their lawyers argued misidentification, weak motive, but Ruiz was relentless. Clara testified, her voice steady, recalling the cries, the car. Jenna, tears falling, shared Ashley's fear of Canty's. The coworker's story, his vow of revenge, landed like a blow. The jury leaned forward, gripped. Forensic experts took the stand. The duct tape's adhesive matched down to the batch. Fibers from Ashley's sweater, found in the Infiniti, were hers, DNA confirmed. The hair on the shovel, the gasoline on the tarp, each piece a nail in the coffin. Ruiz showed the shovels, their dirt-caked edges a silent scream of intent. They planned a grave, she said, voice low. The defense faltered, their cross-examinations weak. Ashley's parents sat in the gallery, hands clasped. Her mother, Ellen, clutched a photo. Ashley at 25, laughing at a fair. She was our world, Ellen whispered to Vargas, who sat nearby. The pain was a living thing, but so was the hope of justice. Ruiz's closing was a masterpiece. Carter Canties and David Mullally chose to end a life, choose to hold them accountable. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. On March 25th, they returned, faces solemn. Guilty, the foreperson read, of capital murder. Canties blinked, Mullally froze. The courtroom exhaled. Ellen sobbed, her husband holding her. The sentence under Texas law was automatic, life without parole. The gavel fell, a thunderclap of justice. Canties and Mullally were led away, their world now bars and concrete. Vargas stood outside, Fort Worth skyline glowing. It's done, she told Carter, her voice soft. But the victory was hollow. Ashley was still gone. The scales had tipped, but the wound remained. Justice was served, yet the story wasn't over. Ashley's light demanded more. A legacy, a lesson, a call to remember. Ashley Harris's absence was a void, a silence louder than sirens. Her apartment, once alive with her laugh, stood empty, its walls scarred. But her spirit lingered, in Jenna's memories of coffee chats, in her parents' quiet prayers, in the stories Fort Worth told. She'd loved sunsets, her mother said, always snapping photos of the horizon. She'd planned a trip to Paris, her novel dog-eared with dreams. That life, brimming, was stolen in a night of cruelty. Jenna organized a memorial held December 15, 2014, at a park Ashley loved. Friends gathered, their breath fogging in the cold. They lit candles, their flames defiant against the wind. Ellen spoke, voice breaking. Ashley was light, even in her darkest days. She fought, she loved, she lived. A tree was planted, its plaque simple. Ashley Harris, 1983 to 2014. Forever our light. Vargas attended, standing at the edge, her badge heavy. She'd seen the evidence, the tape, the fire's ruin. But here, she saw Ashley's truth. Not a victim, but a woman who'd touched lives. A friend, Marco, shared a story. Ashley, dancing at a bar, pulling everyone to the floor. She made you feel alive, he said, tears falling. The crowd nodded, their grief a shared pulse. The trial, though one didn't heal. Ellen and her husband moved away, the city too full of ghosts. Jenna stayed, starting a recovery group in Ashley's name, helping others as Ashley had helped her. Fort Worth changed, too. Security tightened at complexes, neighbors more vigilant. The Infiniti, auctioned off, faded from memory. But its shadow lingered, a reminder of betrayal's cost. The duct tape, the flames were more than a crime's tools. They were symbols of human failure, of resentment unchecked, of rage unleashed. Vargas, now a captain, kept Ashley's file, a reminder of why she fought. Violence ripples, she told rookies, but so does love. Ashley's story, she knew, wasn't just tragedy. It was a call to act, to see, to care. Her parents visited the tree yearly, leaving lilies. She's here, Ellen said, touching the bark. The park, once a place of loss, became a sanctuary, kids playing where candles once burned. Ashley's novel, recovered from the ashes, sat in Jenna's home, its pages a testament to her dreams. Paris would wait, but her light wouldn't fade. Fort Worth moved on, its skyline enduring. But Ashley's name, whispered in quiet moments, held power. Her loss was a wound, her memory a flame. The community, scarred but stronger, vowed to remember. Not the crime, but the woman. Ashley Harris, stolen but never erased, lived in every sunset, every laugh, every step toward justice. Ashley Harris's light was stolen. Her life bound and burned in a crime that shook Fort Worth to its core. Yet her story endures, not in the ashes of that November night, but in the justice won, the memories cherished, and the lives she touched. Carter Canties and David Mallory face eternity behind bars, their guilt a testament to relentless truth seekers. But Ashley's legacy asks more of us. To see the fragile beauty of life, to fight for those silenced, to hold close what matters. Her laughter echoes still, a call to build a world where no flame can dim such a spirit. Let her name be your reminder. Cruelty may wound, but love and justice heal. Ashley Harris, forever remembered, forever missed. Thank you for bearing witness to the tragic story of Ashley Harris. If you were moved by this account and believe in the importance of remembering the victims of violent crime, please like this video, share it with others who seek to understand the complexities of true crime, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth and thoughtfully presented narratives. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future stories. We encourage you to share your respectful thoughts and remember Ashley in the comments below. If you or someone you know is experiencing violence or needs support, please reach out to the resources listed in the description.